Hey everybody, this is Jonathan here, known as Random Diorama here on YouTube, and today we're going to do a quick tutorial on how I do bricks and blocks, and sometimes why I use bricks and blocks together. So I'm going to try and do this really fast without doing any cutscenes, which is probably not going to work, but that's what I'm going to try. So I like to use the T-square like this. This is a really cheap one. They're like maybe $3 or something like that for doing this. Now you can use any kind of ruler. People like this kind because you can see through the grid, and it's really great for measuring the individual bricks. But this will help you get straight lines, provided that your cut was straight when you first cut your foam out. So we'll go ahead and put that flush, and the width of the ruler is exactly 1 inch. Lots of times people will throw bricks all the way up the entire length of a wall, and I do that sometimes, but oftentimes I'll split it up with some blocks or some cinder block style, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One is the more changed up things look, sometimes the cooler they look, but also blocks are a lot easier to do than bricks because, well, they're bigger, so you don't have to make as many cuts on them, and that is a really big deal. If anyone has done this for any length of time, you'll know, like, man, sometimes doing those bricks, it's a beast. I mean, like, you literally will start to go cross-eyed from doing brickwork for too long. So once again, I'm going to cheat a little bit with the T-square. No, hold on, let me split these up first. See, in using a ruler like this, and this is a small one, I have the really big one too that most people probably that have something like this have. Now I can already see that these lines aren't exactly 1 inch. As you can tell, they're kind of wider because I'm drawing with a pen, so you're getting the width of the pen on the outside of the ruler. But that's not really going to matter too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a little split line roughly in the middle of each one of these that is going to be actually brick and not block. I'm going to run one of these across here. Hopefully it looks about right. And it's easy to get obsessive about how everything needs to be straight. Once you start using a ruler, you want everything to be perfectly straight, but truthfully, it's not that important. I mean, it is important. You got to have things line up, but which you notice when you're doing it is not even close to what other people notice. I mean, you notice way, way more. You are your own worst critic. I know you've heard that before, and that's really, really true when it comes to stuff like this. And really, anytime you do anything creative, you're usually your own worst critic. So you can see right there, we got the basic pattern outlined already for the cinder block. Now we're going to throw these bricks real quick. Hopefully I don't mess up because I'm rushing, but man, I really could. Would not be that hard for me to mess up because I'm rushing. I've also messed this up plenty of times from rushing too, and sometimes, shoot, I can't even like walk and chew bubble gum, and I'm trying to talk and do this alternating line thing right here. It would be very easy for me to throw a line on the wrong spot, but if I do, It's all good. You can always make a mistake when you're doing this stuff, and if you make a mistake, you just figure out where the next bullet hole or blast crater is going to be. I do that all the time, man. If I make a mistake on something, my hand slips or I cut too far, you know, it's very common that you overcut on your bricks, you know, where the line goes too far into the other brick. I just picked that foam out, man, to make a little damage spot. It looks pretty cool. So this was really quick and rushed, but it looks pretty good. So okay, when it comes to actually carving the bricks, there's a couple of ways you could do this. Alright, now I'm going to show both ways really quick. One way people do this is they'll put a line with a knife, usually an X-Acto knife, but I'm pretty comfortable with this type of knife. And you follow your pen line along. Now some people will actually guide the knife with the ruler, and that works absolutely fine. If that's what you like to do, or you're used to doing it that way from something else, then, you know, shoot. Do it however you are comfortable doing it. And I just go ahead and put the lines in the cinder block too. Or it could be stone, I haven't decided yet. Okay, so at this point, a lot of people, what they'll do, and this is a clay shaping tool, will use a dulled pencil, which will work absolutely fine. I just don't happen to have a dull pencil around, but I have this, which is really the same thing. And they'll put it in that line they made and just open it up like that. And even though, I mean, you can definitely see how it's opened in comparison to that, but it might not look like it's, you know, that big of a line, but when you go to paint it, the black and the darker paint will definitely get captured down in those lines, and your lighter color will show up. So the other thing you can do, if you're going for more of a block look, is you can actually cut in a V. You know, you kind of want to come in at an angle from this side then the other side and cut your blocks out like that. Now it'll definitely give it a more defined look, but it also takes a lot longer because now you're doing at the bare minimum, even if you didn't put that first cut in that I put in, you're still doing 2 cuts instead of 1 cut. We'll go ahead and do that here too. And then we can come down and do some of these real quick. So you get where I'm going with this, obviously. Now you don't have to try and go this fast. As a matter of fact, I'd probably be getting a better result if I would slow down a little bit here, but trying to rush. Basically that's all you would do, is make little marks like that. And you got to be really careful and not let the blade slide down into the previous brick, so you got to kind of have to come out of the cut as you're going through. Then you take your dulled pencil or what have you, open those up, and for the sake of this, I'm not going to finish everything else, but that is basically how you have your brick. Something to remember though, is it takes much less time to do block than it does to do brick. And also it gives it a nice, you know, variated look, like this guy right here. It looks cool to have the block on the bottom and the brick on the top. And obviously there's some other effects and some damage and stuff that's done here. But this is the basic idea of how to do bricks and blocks. And I'm sure I will talk more about this another time. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you.